Hello and welcome everyone to our latest journal review on the effect of vasopressin and methylprednisolone versus placebo on return to spontaneous circulation in patients with in-hospital cardiac arrest. The outcomes in cardiac arrest remain poor. 25% survive cardiac arrest in hospital discharge in 2017 in United States. Now, despite this low survival, there has been limited research which has focused on improving outcomes in this patient population. This is RCT has been published in 2009 and 2013 on the use of vasopressin and methylprednisolone. Both of these studies have shown good outcome, and they had a combined sample size of 368 patients. However, despite these positive findings, this is not in the guidelines which are currently being recommended for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So the hypothesis of this particular study, that is the VAM-IHCA study, was that giving vasopressin and methylprednisolone in in-hospital cardiac arrest would result in improved return to spontaneous circulation for patients with in-hospital cardiac arrest. So coming to the methodology, it was an investigator-initiated, multi-centered, randomized, placebo-controlled, parallel group, double-blind superiority trial. The inclusions were adult patients, that is age more than 18 years, with in-hospital cardiac arrest who received at least one dose of epinephrine during the cardiac arrest. The exclusions were if there was a clearly documented DNR status, prior enrollment in this trial, invasive mechanical circulatory support, that is ECMO or left ventricular assist devices at the time of cardiac arrest, known or suspected pregnancy at the time of cardiac arrest. Now, the randomization was 1:1 in blocks of 2, 4 and 6. It was stratified according to the site. Total there were 10 sites and all of them were there in Denmark. The intervention. The trial drug consisted of 40 milligrams of methylprednisolone and 20 international units of vasopressin was to be given as soon as possible after the first dose of epinephrine. Additional doses of vasopressin were to be administered after each epinephrine dose for a maximum of 4 doses. So total 80 international unit was to be given. A placebo containing 9 mg per ml of sodium chloride from identical ampules was provided for blinding. The trial drug was placed in blinded study kits which were brought to the cardiac arrest site by a dedicated member of the clinical cardiac arrest team. The trial was a double blind with patients, investigator, clinician and outcome assessors, all of whom were unaware of the allocated treatment which was being given. Now, what was the outcome which they were looking for? The primary outcome was return of spontaneous circulation, and it was defined as spontaneous circulation which no further need for CPR for at least 20 minutes. Now, let's see what the results were. If we look at the results, then total 2,362 patients were screened, but we must keep in mind that a huge proportion, that is 1,850, were excluded. That's a big number. 685 did not meet the inclusion criteria, that is they were pediatric patients or they did not receive the first dose of epinephrine. 110 received the exclusion criteria, but the overwhelming majority, that is 1,000, had other reasons like return of spontaneous circulation prior to the trial drug, clinical team forgot, early termination, physician's preference, logistic reasons, no intravenous access. So ultimately they included 512 patients. 245 in the methylprednisolone and vasopressin group, 267 in the placebo group. Out of this, 8 were excluded in the intervention and 3 in the placebo group. So ultimately 237 were analyzed in the intervention and 264 in the placebo group for the primary intervention. So now if we look in terms of the demographics, the age was around 70 years, predominantly male, BMI was around 26. Important comorbidities were arterial hypertension, coronary artery disease, atrial fibrillation, diabetes. Patients with prior steroids were around 14 to 11%. Interventions prior to cardiac arrest like renal transplant was in 10%, invasive ventilation in around 10%, and vasopressor in around 7%. Now, looking at the characteristics of the cardiac arrest, most of them were in the hospital wards. In ICU, there was around 10%, emergency around 10%, cath labs 5%, operating rooms 1 to 2%. Witnessed cardiac arrest was in 2/3 of the cases. Initial rhythm was predominantly pulseless electrical activity with almost 50% of the patients, asystole in 1/3, and the rest around 15% had shockable rhythm. Now, the time from cardiac arrest recognition to epinephrine dose was roughly 5 minutes. However, the trial drug administration took around 8 to 9 minutes in the study. So if you look at the primary outcomes, then the return to spontaneous circulation was much better in the intervention group, 42% versus 33%. However, the secondary outcomes, that is survival, neurological outcome, and quality of life, were not significantly different between the two groups. This was same in respective of long-term as well follow-up even at 90 days. So 30 days and 90 days survival, neurological outcome, and quality of life did not show any difference in the two groups. The next is subgroup analysis. If we do a subgroup analysis, then we can see that most of the benefit is seen in the non-shockable rhythm. However, even though the amount of benefit was more in the shockable rhythm, the findings were not statistically significant. This is predominantly because very few patients of shockable rhythm were included in the study. The next was age. If the age was less, it was associated with better outcomes, and if the time of giving the drug was early, it was associated with better outcome. The limitations. A large proportion of the patients who were potentially eligible were not included. While this was no influence on the trial's internal validity, it would definitely affect the generalizability of this study. Because so many patients were excluded, we cannot say we can generalize this finding to all the patients or all the ICUs. While the median time to drug delivery was only 8 minutes, the drug was delivered relatively late and in some cases, and this could influence the result, and which is likely reflecting of the clinical practice where we actually don't use these drugs. The trial was powered for the primary outcome to return to spontaneous circulation. However, the more important outcomes like survival, neurological outcome, and quality of life were not significantly different. And the study wasn't powered to find that also. The overall survival appears to be low, that is 9%, which is likely reflection of the inclusion criteria, which required at least 1 dose of epinephrine. However, the outcomes of cardiac arrest in Denmark tends to be better than most of the places. So to conclude, among patients with in-hospital cardiac arrest, the administration of vasopressin and methylprednisolone compared with placebo significantly increased the likelihood of a return to spontaneous circulation. However, this was without any survival benefit or neurological benefit even at day 30 and day 90. So what's next? There does remain the uncertainty regarding the actual benefit, which is the long-term survival. We need more trials in a larger population with ample power to detect mortality as well as neurological outcome benefits. Only then we can say that it has a good role. Thank you, and check our website for further information.